for years we've been driving past, and we always thought, wow, wouldn't it be an amazing place for us to have our restaurant? Although we're in a beautifully Georgian building, I want people to be a little bit surprised when they walk through the door. You know, we've tried to keep the character of the restaurant as it should be and as we want it to be, but also we've tried to add a little bit of we've just tried to update it a little bit. The food is such a passion of mine, of course, and you know, it's very much flavour focused. We have a good sized menu. We have like 5 starters, main courses and puddings. I try to be very creative with the flavours, but of course they must work, and so we try and put flavours together that people may not have always think is obvious immediately, and we want people to come and say, okay, well, we'll try this, and I want people to discover a new flavour combination that they may not have tried before. I like to think that we are British. You know, I'm English, I'm from Essex, I haven't spent that much time in France, and although I've worked with a lot of in a lot of French restaurants over the years, you know, I firmly believe that, you know, we are a British restaurant, and that's what I want to put across in the food, that we're very proud of our heritage. 95% of all our produce comes from within our own shores. The first thing we look at really is the produce. We look at the seasonality, so that they're the two, that's they're absolute musts. We want it to be creative, we want it to taste amazing, we don't want it to be complicated, and it has to be intriguing. We want it to be intriguing, we want it to be almost adventurous. Mike's worked for me for a couple of years now, and he's now my head chef, and he's very much like me, as in he's got a very, very creative mind, and which is so important. And when we kind of sit down together, and we try and sit down out of the kitchen, so we try and get out of the kitchen, sit somewhere where it's a bit quiet, and we just think, because you know, in a kitchen there's so many distractions going on. There's people coming in everywhere, there's deliveries coming, there's people shouting at you, all sorts of things are going. So it's just really a spark of an idea that we're looking for, and Mike and myself can work very, very well together with that, in that we can take a small idea and turn it into a dish. If we take beef, for example, you know, and you know, I wanted to do a beef dish. So we've taken a piece of sirloin, and we tried various cuts of meat. We've taken a piece of sirloin. I didn't want to serve a huge long piece of meat sitting on a plate. We thought fillet, but fillet was a very obvious choice. So we thought, now let's get a beautiful sirloin. And we think, okay, well, what do we want to put with beef? And we think, okay, we want to put tomatoes. So we think, okay, well, let's use some lovely heirloom tomatoes, which we just very slightly confit. And then we think, well, what goes really well with beef? And I think, just through trial and error, that seaweed is a very good combination with beef. So what we've done is we've actually made a gnocchi from seaweed. So we're using our technique to deliver the flavour. So we've packed the gnocchi full of a seaweed flavour and added lots of parmesan as well, which gives it that umami flavour. And then we thought, well, okay, what else do we want to put with this? And we think, well, broccoli works very, very well with seaweed. It works very well with beef. It's got that lovely juicy wateriness, kind of refreshing flavour to it. And we think, okay, well, let's cook the broccoli in some seawater, which we'll make from some kombu seaweed. We'll just simply make some water. And then we also okay, well, let's puree some broccoli, and we'll dry it out, and we'll make some like a broccoli leather, which resembles seaweed. So we've got all these kind of seaweed and meaty flavours, and you know, we've even brought in a little bit of Marmite, believe it or not, which again we've just let down a bit with some seawater basically, and just made a little gel out of it, and we've got this real kind of meaty, kind of Marmite-y, kind of just under the beef. So we've brought all these flavours together, and you know, the main flavours really are beef, seaweed and broccoli, and then we've got a little bit of tomato with it and a little bit of parmesan with it, and it brings it all together perfectly. One of the most widely asked questions is, how often do you change your menu? And people want you to be constantly creative, constantly coming up with new ideas, which is what we try and do, because I think also it keeps us enthusiastic, keeps us excited, keeps us passionate. You know, it's a real passion of mine to have an identity with our food that is really unique to us.